Good morning to all. It is a great pleasure for me standing before you all to take you into the technical session. Before the technical session, of course, a presentation will be there by the resource person in none other than the Naveen Patimani from the hardcore part of our Karnataka, that is Dharwad. And interestingly, taxidermy, as we know that being a biologist, in particular zoologist, it is an art of science. It is a art of science. That preservation is a kind of preserving the biological specimen, and it is a technique also, method also. It was started when we are going through the literature. Of course, date back 16th century, how Egyptian people they have started mummification. The preserving the human body, but that is not a taxidermy. Later on in the mid of the 16th century toward the 17th century, the process of making the taxidermy was started with the bird's stuffing. That is a beginning of the taxidermy technique. Later on in the UK and Europe countries, their taxidermy has become one of the art. It is an art in such a way that a science is there behind it. Because processing of the animals and studying their morphology, not anatomy, for a longer period that we can preserve it. So their techniques are available. How our biologists have discovered and made the inventions, made the experiments to keep the animal live as it is in the nature. That's how the taxidermy. Okay, when we are going through the literature again, taxi from the Greek word, it refers to systematization of the animal preservation. A dermy there, of course, skin. Preserving the skin apart from the all viscera, their skin will be retained with all exactly how we see in the nature. Then later on in the 20th century, the another technique has come over the taxidermy. That of course last year before that we organized the plastination workshop. Because there the resins are used, resins and the enzymes are used to make it the plastination of the whole organ or whole body. There resins that can replace the tissue part of the animals, and as a result of that nowadays that plastination technique is used widely in the medical science also. Nowadays, in the medical sciences, the people they are not using the human body as it is, because getting the human body is a very scare. There people are using the plastinated organs. It may be the vital organ or non-vital organ to study the anatomy. Then still the continuation of the taxidermy went on towards from the European to the Asian country. In the Asian country, of course, we are seeing those taxidermed animals or birds in general. In the different kingships, they are keeping the taxidermed animals as a show. But later on, when the tiny legislation, then that was stopped due to the impose of the legislation. Later on, people started making the clay models. Of course, in the various, of course, you are representing the various colleges and universities, and research scholars are there. Nowadays, in the colleges and universities also, people are seeing the animal through the pictures, through the clay models or moldings. Hardly specimens are remain, as they remains only in the museum of the zoology or in biological museums, because in the biological sciences, without the museum, it is asset of the biological sciences, in particular either zoology or botany or any allied natural sciences. How the taxidermy takes you to learn the technique to make the or conversion of the animal. Right now today you are handling the freshwater, the fish katla as one of the specimen, and that it is not there in the schedule 1 or schedule 2. Because of that only we decided to call the forest people, because the forest people ultimately they caught us if we are using the sparrow, if we are using the pigeons, etc. Because those are there in the schedule 1 and schedule 2. It is an offense also. We should not make use. If the culturable species are there, that we can definitely make use, like a freshwater fish or maybe cultural species of marine, the species also. Right now, we are there in not in the marine area. We are non-marine area. We are there. Of course, we are using the freshwater, the fish. I hope that you will take something while going back to your institution, to your universities, with a methodology. For that, to call the as an expert is none other than the Naveen Patimani. Truly speaking, Naveen Patimani, he was my student. He was my student in Karwa. Because when he completion of his graduation, he applied for the MSc in Karwa. But later on he got it MSc in Dharwad only. He joined there. There he completed. Afterwards, he got the opportunity to work with the Mohan More. He was the pioneer. He was there in the beautiful museum of the Karnataka Science College, Dharwad. Mohan More was a taxidermist. So under him, of course, he has undergone the training and he learned, and now he has become the taxidermist. He is handling the museum specimens. See here, not only making the taxidermy is not ultimate, because lot of things are there. Many toxic chemicals we are using, many other things we are using. Handling those things is also very important. After making the taxidermed animals, maintenance, it should be free from any fungal infection, bacterial infection. That is also a science of art of science. Doesn't mean that if taxidermy is done, that is over, that we can keep it for 100 years like mummies, Egyptian mummies. It's not like that. That monitoring and maintenance is also part of the taxidermy after the post the work, in the sense of making the taxiderm animals. So that part is still blank. See, many people, if they wanted to become a taxidermist, they are going now after taxidermy, how that has to be maintained in the museum. Museums in the sense, all level of the museums, especially biological museums, then nobody is there, no expert is there. Simply we are claiming that we are masters in zoology, we are masters in botany, or we are masters in so and so. But when it comes to our table, no one is there to handle the simple earthworm. No one is there to handle the cockroach. You forget about the solidum, because I am visiting the many colleges and universities in the name of the examination.